acting. I mean, Matthew Lilard, as you said, just steals it away. Everyone does a really good job, but if there is a heart to this movie, it is Matthew Lillard's performance.
Here, they have tons of callbacks, but they're all really small, and they're almost overarching callbacks because it's such a faithful adaptation or recreation. One of the central premises of the show, it's that, and they hammer this home a little bit, friends don't quit. Hello, Earthlings, and welcome back to the Thundering Dice channel with your boys, the Thundering Dice Brothers. And we are back with another review of a story that made us. We're diving back into Scooby-Doo, but this time, the live-action Scooby-Doo, which we think is actually probably the most faithful live-action recreation of a cartoon ever. And that includes the nonsense from Netflix, specifically Season 2 of Avatar, which so far strays. Let's say it strays. But we're not here to talk about Avatar, nor are we here to talk shit about anything or anyone. In fact, we're here actually to keep a little bit of praise for a change. Some people accuse us of being negative. That's just nonsense, because we love Scooby-Doo in most of its forms. This is no exception.
Absolutely. And for a quick recap for everyone who has forgotten about what happens in the original Scooby-Doo movie that came out in 2002, the gang break up, leaving Scooby-Doo and Shaggy to make their own way. After a mysterious letter arrives for the entire gang, they are all reunited at an airport to go to Spooky Island and solve a proper mystery. They solve a proper mystery and find out that the culprit has to be the ultimate villain of all Scooby-Doodom, Scrappy Doo!
And it's hilarious that James Gunn, who, by the way, wrote the screenplay and co-wrote the story,
and produced it,
and sort of hates Scrappy-Doo, which is funny. I have no particular aversion to Scrappy-Doo, but, you know, to each his own.
Yeah.
Puppy Power is pretty obnoxious, I admit. It is funny to make him the bad guy, but it's even better to have Rowan Atkinson play the bad guy because no one does physical comedy, facial expressions the way that Rowan Atkinson does. So no matter what it is, he's going to lend an awesome talent to it. So fuck yeah, +1 for having a good bad guy not played by a puppy, because that would have been obnoxious for most of the movie.
Yeah, this whole movie actually kind of beggars belief, because if you just look at, if you read the screenplay and looked at the dialogue in particular, many times any actor would just be like, you can't say these lines, this won't work. Even in a comedy style with CGI Scooby-Doo, it's never going to work, guys. We just can't do it. And yet, the movie is so golden tier that it just blows everything out of the water.
Everybody commits full send to their dialogue.
Oh yeah.
Which makes it work. They're all so declarative and so epic. It's almost like a stage play of sorts sometimes, the way the dialogue is delivered. And then other times, Matthew Lilard has to get all the laurels here because sometimes his dialogue is delivered so well and with such the perfect emotion, and you really do believe that the cartoon Scooby-Doo that he's talking to is really there.
Yeah, that's the trippiest part. Yeah, because he's not talking to anything. He's just looking at air and imagining that Scooby-Doo is there. But when you're watching it, dude, you think Scooby-Doo is there. You the dialogue is so tight. The conversation flows back and forth between them. There's no point where I'm ooh, that's stilted or anything. Oh, that he's obviously not there. Just the acting. I mean, Matthew Lilard, as you said, just steals it away. Everyone does a really good job. But if there is a heart to this movie, it is Matthew Lillard's performance.
Yeah, and speaking of Scooby-Doo, they made the great choice to not go for hyper-realism.
Yes.
So way too many things. I'm looking at you, Disney.
Yeah.
When you do a live-action remake of a story for whatever cash grab reasons you have, stay away from live-action realism to the point where it's photorealistic. The Lion King is a great example of that, because it turns out when you have a bunch of photorealistic lions all portraying lions, they all just kind of look like lions.
Yep.
When you animate them, you give them faces personality, their eyes can be all more humanized and different. And so they made the right choice by giving Scooby that exact same stuff. He is animated to look in place in the world, but he's also not animated to the hyper-realistic point. So he gets all the goofy facial expressions. He can contort his face in crazy ways. His eyes are big and expressive and shiny and angry or whatever.
Yeah, it's very emotive.
It's the perfect blend of CGI and not and animation and cartooniness.
Yeah, and even after 24 years plus away, Scooby-Doo still looks good. And I'm kind of thinking about like the warg scene that tries to eat Halbrand in season 2 of Rings of Power. When you see those two put together on the screen, as you will see right now, one of them is going to look just as shit as it does in 24 years' time. One of them will look just as good as it does now in just 48 years' time.
Yes. They captured the essence of Scooby-Doo in the live action right there, and that I hate to call it just computer generated. It is, but it is more of an animation than it is like a one-to-one kind of recreation. So
yeah.
Talking about recreating the spirit of the original cartoon. Another thing the adaptations struggle to do is capturing the vibe or the spirit of the original. Oftentimes, we find them lacking. They're soulless a little bit. A lot of what made the original charming or have personality or draw us in is somehow left by the wayside when you remake it in a new medium sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
They avoid this here.
Yes, they really do. There's like everything about the Scooby-Doo movie holds true to the Scooby-Doo show, but just with like a little bit more just realism because they were able to get it. Like in the opening scene when Daphne is getting chased and shit like that, she gets described like, you didn't have to get pawed by the Luna Ghost for an hour and a half. That's the type of joke that wouldn't be in the OG.
Well,
but
Fred, you're like the big, beautiful banana in the center. There's those little subtle entendres which ride the line between PG and PG-13, which is really great.
They really do.
And of course, it just includes a ton of like small little callbacks. So it's not over-the-top gratuitous fan service. Like sometimes, like let's say Lower Decks is an example of over-the-top fan service. I love it and it works for Lower Decks.
But there's no subtlety to it.
Yeah, exactly. If it were any other show, you'd be like, man, you could dial it down a little bit, but it doesn't matter. Lower Decks pulls it off in a way that no one else does.
Fuck.
But here, they have tons of callbacks, but they're all really small, and they're almost overarching callbacks because it's such a faithful adaptation or recreation.
Yeah, you have eyes in pictures or behind a wall that are watching you. You have a joke about a knight in armor that's moving behind you, but only when you're not seeing it. At the very end, they have the hot pepper joke from Zombie Island, causing steam and having to drink or put ludicrous things in your mouth to cool down. Like there's just so many subtly put there.
There's the chase scene inside the castle, and there's also the entire castle. Actually, seems like that is the self-contained homage to the original. You've got trapdoors.
Yep.
You've got animatronic creatures and animals capturing them. You've got the gang split up based off of, well, it's always Shaggy and Scooby by themselves and Fred and Velma and Daphne doing something else as well. So get it all spread up. They add a little bit of BS, group dynamic drama, which I'm glad isn't actually real, but it adds tension to the movie. I suppose you have to have interpersonal conflict, otherwise it's just
too like smooth. An episode, and then there's no like absolutely hurrah when the end bad guy gets taken out and the group finally comes together and you have the moment with they all put their hands in it and be like, wherever, whenever, we'll be there, and the world is watching with the cameras and everyone's like, yeah! I mean, also like Scooby Snacks. We can't forget Scooby Snacks. Scooby Snacks come in multiple times. Though I do love it when Shaggy's like, I'm going to take a Scooby Snack, eat it, and then I'm going to save my best pal. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I love Scooby Snacks, but obviously the connotation is the Scooby Snacks, like give you courage and or munchies. And the courage part is definitely needed at that moment, maybe not the munchies part.
Yeah, I always figured like Scooby Snacks are sort of this very, very nebulous, amazing treat that, well, dogs love them, and Shaggy, just being Shaggy for some reason, loves them too. But they do give Scooby a little extra pep in his step when he does stuff,
Yeah, some doggy cocaine.
I'm John Wayne and stuff like that.
John Wayne.
Ron Blade? Ron Blade?
Sure, Scooby.
We will.
So that's really, it all boils down to one of the central premises of the show. It's that, and they hammer this home a little bit, friends don't quit. They work together, they solve problems, they don't leave each other behind, and they trust each other.
Do I quit?
No, Scoob. Friends don't quit.
The movie starts with that breakdown of trust and the seeming disbanding of the group, leaving only Shaggy and Scooby as a vestige of that.
Yep.
And then it ends with them all back together again, echoing Emil Monteverius' statements at the beginning. Oh, that's the beauty of something broken. It can be fixed. And therein lies its potential. and they show it to us, and they don't tell it to us, which is one of my favorite things about good writing and good stories. Doesn't matter if it's made for kids or adults, if it's thematic like Seven, or if it's charming like Scooby-Doo, you need that kind of storytelling ability, especially in an hour and 26 minutes.
Yeah.
James Gunn, Matthew Lilard specifically, but James Gunn as the writer delivers there.
Yeah, this whole movie, as you can tell, we absolutely love. There are gold nuggets everywhere. There's pretty much no blemish on anything that happens in the film. Like you just gotta smile, love it, and it's like comfort food. This movie is, to me, is like shepherd's pie. You know, I will never not have shepherd's pie and smile and be like, I feel warm and gooey inside. In the same respect, I watched this movie. The moral is right. You know, like friends don't quit. They all come together. The lighting is great. This is before, you know, post lighting happens. So everything actually, the shadows, you know.
There's a real director of photography doing real director of photography things.
Stuff, yeah. Yeah, you know, the music is great. It does date itself slightly with, you know, like the pool scene and the frosted tips, but that's the joy.
Like comfort food too.
Yeah.
When you hear that 2002 college pop rock song vibe.
Yep.
Oh man, it like instantly teleports you back to 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
Which was a fun time mostly. Let's forget about wars and death and despair. I was a child. It was all right.
Right.
And on that extremely happy note about planes suddenly going kaboom, let us know what you how much you guys liked this movie in particular. Tell us if we should also review the second movie that shall not be named. And like, comment, and subscribe down below.
Stay sane, and we'll see you next time, guys.
Sayonara.
Help me a minute.